Michelle, are you ready?
I was born ready.
She's an award-winning author, speaker, and podcast host who serves on the National Faith Advisory Council. She supported Donald J. Trump for president before it was cool. From her she shed in her beautiful backyard, this is the Michelle Moore Show.
Am I the only one here tonight, shaking my head and thinking something ain't right? Is it just me? Am I losing my mind? Am I standing on the edge of the end of time? Am I the only one? Tell me I'm not. Who thinks of taking all the good we got and turning it bad? Hell, I'll be damned. I think I'm turning into my old man. Am I the only one willing to bleed or take a bullet for being free? Screaming what the hell at my TV for telling me, yeah, you're telling me that I'm the only one willing to fight for my love of the red and white and the blue, burning on the ground. Another statue coming down in a town near you, watching the threads of old glory come undone. Am I the only one not brainwashed, making my way through the land of the lost, who sees it as it is and worries about his kids as they try to undo all the things he did? Am I the only one who can't take no more screaming? If you don't like it, there's a frickin' door. This ain't the freedom we've been fighting for. It was something more. Yeah, it was something more. Am I the only one willing to fight for my love of the red and white and the blue, burning on the ground? Another statue coming down in a town near you, watching the threads of old glory come undone. Not the only one. I can't be the only one. Am I the only one who quit singing along every time they play a Springsteen song? Am I the only one sitting here, still holding on, holding back my tears for the ones who paid with the lives they gave? God bless the USA. I'm not the only one willing to fight for my love of the red and white and the blue, burning on the ground. Another statue coming down in a town near you, watching the threads of old glory come undone. I'm not the only one. I can't be
Hello, everybody. So glad that you're with us today. Happy Monday. I have to tell you, whoo, who relates to that song? It's been a while since I heard it, and I thought right now would be a great time to have it on. We've got Todd and Linda Endsley with us today. Todd is a retired veteran. He's actually a disabled veteran as well. He and his wife, Linda, have been going through a rent-to-own situation from hell. And he's had a major breakthrough, they have, and I'm so excited to have them on today. I caught wind about them. I just want to say huge shout out to Crash. She is who actually brought him to my attention and in their videos and everything they've been posting just in the last week on X. And so I thought it was very interesting. And he was talking about, none of these people that they've been reaching out to with these big accounts had been helping them. And I was like, well, I'm your Huckleberry. And so we got on the phone on Thursday morning for over 2 hours just talking. And it's just amazing the timing, because then Friday morning they had a major breakthrough. But there is so much to cover with them. I'm so excited they're with us. But first, I want to show you a couple of different things. First of all, we've got Flashaganza that we did just a week ago, and some of those gifts have been arriving. And some of the winners have been so sweet to really bless me and producer Ron with videos and photos. And I grabbed two that I wanted to share today. So the first one, the gift arrived, and Kitty Izzy loved the blanket. So take a look. It says Flashaganza Throw. This is Flash's favorite blanket, by the way. And so it says, got the blanket today, and this one took right to it. So this little fur baby kitty is Izzy, and Izzy's adorable. And of course, we love that throw. I think Flash has two of those, actually, one in the car and one out in the she shed when we do the show out there. All right. And then we had another viewer. So Country Gal 68 on Rumble, she goes by. She says the two larger dogs here in the video were adopted from a shelter, says that the balls that they received, the tennis balls, were a special treat. Let's take a look at this video.
These are from Michelle Moore. Look. Here we go. Hold on. Ready? Go.
So sweet. So single mama, her husband died with cancer when their son was 3 years old, and he gets homeschooled, and just a great patriotic family. But thank you so much for sending me that video. It really blessed me, Country Gal 68. And I just wanted to say, and of course, adopting two of the dogs from the shelters is just amazing as well. So thank you so much. Okay. Also, remember last week that we were talking about the Barbara O'Neill special? So she's got this health series, and it's got 13 issues or episodes. Well, all 13 episodes have now aired on the Truth Talk America and the Michelle Moore Show Rumble channels. And so you can watch the playlist. Producer Rod has now created a playlist for you. I told you that once we did all 13 episodes through the network, that then he would go on ahead and create the playlist. So you can watch the health series at Rumble. So if you go to the Michelle Moore Show Rumble channel, and then you can, and the link is in today's show. We were trying to make sure that you can see it. So if you know where to find playlists on a channel, you can go to the Michelle Moore Show Rumble channel and then go into playlists. But if not, you can always go to the show description of today's show, and the link is in there for you. So that way you can get it. I've already been getting so many emails from you guys telling me amazing testimonials about your health issues and the things that you've been learning in this series. And thank you for sharing and all that kind of good stuff. I told producer Ron he's put a lot of work into this. And so I've shared a lot of your comments and just testimonials with producer Ron as well. So just to encourage him, because he just does so much work on so much of this, like this image, even he created this. He created the playlist. He does the all of the airing of this and scheduling. There is so much that goes into this. Just making sure that, those that want the help and the education and the information, they have it available. And so we're doing the best we can to help everybody to get educated and up on what's going on. And so we had told you last week this was in the works, and that we'd already aired a first few of the videos. I think it was 5 or 6 at that time. And that we would probably finish this weekend so that the playlist could be created. And that's exactly what happened. So we just want to let you know that it's done and follow up with you. So, okay, if you were a winner from Flashaganza, and as the things come in, if you want to email me your photos and videos of your fur babies receiving your Flashaganza, just in case you don't know what Flashaganza is, Flash, my fur baby, Flash had his 6th birthday last week. And so we celebrated on Tuesday by giving fur baby gifts to your kitties and your puppies. And so that's what we did. And those gifts have been arriving and people have been sending these photos and videos in. We'll share some more as we get them as well. All right. Well, so excited to have Todd and Linda Endsley with us today. I have to tell you, there are so many lessons. We're going to cover, just when you think that you've heard it all, we're going to cover a number of things. Obviously, you know, there's the whole story too when it comes to rent to own and all that. And when I first talked with Todd, he said, you know, it's just rent to own is horrible and blah, blah, blah. And so we got to talk about it because obviously with my 30 years real estate experience, I said, well, Todd, not every landlord is the landlord from hell. And not everybody got such a terrible deal. And so we've been able to talk about that, but I can certainly see where he would think that. And so we had some great conversations, and I think you're going to enjoy hearing the two of them, Todd and Linda, tell their story and share what's been going on. I tell you, just when you think you've heard it all, though, there's always one twist after another. We really want to share this because I really felt like it was important because as you hear it, there are some lessons, and there's so many different lessons, and we're going to cover so many of the things he told me. It was like, my viewers need to know this. My viewers need to know this. And it was literally one conversation, one lesson after another. And so one of the first things I wrote was many lessons today, exclamation points, and, you know, underlined it to make sure that I stress that to you all today. There's so much. So you'll see. All right, let's go on ahead and bring them in, producer Ron. So we've got Todd and Linda Endsley. Thank you, Todd and Linda, for being with us and sharing with our viewers today. I appreciate you being here with us.
You're welcome. We're glad to be here, and it's so nice talking to you, and hello to all your viewers. And just take from us, do your own diligence when you sign these rent-to-own agreements because you don't know what you're getting into. And as we go through our ordeal, we hope that you learn a huge lesson from everything that we have to tell you.
All right. Well, I want to start with saying, you know, that's great advice. Absolutely great advice, Todd. And so let's go on ahead. You do such a great job at sharing your story. And I want to kind of walk the viewers through a little bit of a timeline of what happened. Obviously, like I said earlier, you are a disabled veteran. You guys are like most Americans, you know, we're not made of money. And so you had your life savings. You've worked very hard. You were explaining to me about you and Linda and how you don't live a lavish lifestyle. In fact, you scrimped and saved to be able to have a savings to be able to buy a home. Obviously, when you're renting to own, that means that you didn't have a ton of money and you couldn't go out and just go get a loan or, you know, whatever was the situation, especially if the home doesn't qualify for a VA loan. A lot of people don't realize that. Obviously, with me having a real estate background, I know that. But VA can be a little particular, just like FHA can be particular. And so they don't take every home. And so let's start out with share the story of the very beginning. You meet with the landlord and kind of take us from there.
So we were looking for a house and we had ran across this one and he told us he would do a rent to own. So we had taken a look at it and everything had to be done at his house, the contract, the payments and everything. And I said, okay, what's all involved here? He says, I need $5,250 in cash down at my house. So we sat in his living room. And when he handed us the contract, it was 6 pages long. And my wife and I looked at each other and we both asked, can we take this to have somebody else read it? And he said, absolutely not. You have to sign it now or you don't get it. Well, that should have been one of our red flags not to do this. Something I didn't have that gut feeling, you know, hey, let's not do this, hon. But we went ahead and signed it. And as you go through the agreement, every payment had to be cash in hand at his place. No mail. You can't send a text. You have to show up at his house and hand him your payment in cash. And it just wasn't only us. It was every house that this man has. And I'm talking 50 to 60 homes in our area that he's done this to. You had to show up at his house and pay.
Okay. All right. So how long were you all doing that when Linda goes by herself?
We signed the contract in October of 2020. and Linda went by herself. I believe it was March
or May.
March or May, and I was sick. I couldn't make it, and so we wouldn't be late on a payment. I sent her a loan, and when she come home to me 2 hours later, well, about 2.5 hours later, because it's a 38-mile round trip to this guy's house, and when she walked through the door and said, "Never again," and had tears in her eyes, and I said, "What happened? What happened?" And when she told me what happened, I was at a loss for words, and I actually wanted to make a trip over, but it didn't happen. I just did what I had to do. I'll let her explain a little bit of what had happened.
Well, Linda, so you show up to pay the payment, and
Yeah.
Todd's at home. He's sick. What happened?
Well, I've always treated him courteous, because he's older than me, and that's how I was taught. And we always did some chit chat. He's a diehard Republican, so we had that in common. And we were talking about various things, and started talking about gas prices, I believe. And then he was talking about how when he was younger, gas was only whatever, and he used to collect money from his friends when they wanted to go places, and he'd use that gas money. And then he proceeded to say one of the places they went to, they all would go over to this girl's house and have sex with her. And the way I understood it, it was outside that they would do this. And then he proceeded to go into
Other inappropriate conversation?
yeah.
Okay.
It gets hard for her to talk about it.
Yeah,
And
that's okay.
I felt trapped there because he keeps a pistol on his coffee table. And I kept trying to say I had to go, and he just kept going on, and I was shaken, and I didn't want to cry in front of him. And finally, I don't know if a phone call came for him or something, and I told him I had to go, and I left. And when I got out to the car, I just lost it. And then I cried the whole way home. And when I walked in the door and told Todd, I'll never go over there again, he was upset. And like he said, even though he didn't feel well, he wanted to go back over there, but no good would have came from it. So,
Sure. Okay. All right. So that's your first red flag, Todd. And so is that when you take to Facebook and you start doing some searching?
So yeah, so I started putting things together. I said, well, if he's done this to her, he had to do it to other people also. So I went ahead and made a fake profile on Facebook, and I went on, as a woman, and I went to the magistrate docket sheets online and looked through all the evictions that this man has done. And a majority of them were all women, and they were dating back 15 years. Well, I started looking these women up on Facebook, and I was like, hey, I'm going to rent from this evil person. And they're like, no, don't do it. He sexually harassed me. And I started keeping track. Then, so after I'd done that for about a month, I decided, well, I'll back up. When it happened to her, I went to our township police. They couldn't do anything. Hearsay. I went over to the next county where the evil man lives. The police couldn't do anything. Hearsay. I went to my county district attorney. Nothing. They didn't want involved. Went to the county where the evil man lives. They didn't want involved. I was stuck. I was all alone at my time doing all this. So I went to and filed a complaint with the Fair Housing. Well, Fair Housing sat on it. We'll get into that in a little bit. But when I got all these women together, on Facebook, is this something is wrong, and it ended up all low income women, and he would just evict you, and you can't afford an attorney to fight him. And that's what he did. When you've got 50 or 60 homes bringing in $30,000-$40,000 a month in cash, he got an attorney. He'll just fight you to the end of time. And I didn't only do it for us, but I went ahead with everything that I did for all these other women and all these other tenants and everybody. I didn't want to come out as being, hey, I'm doing this for just us two. How many others has he done it to?
Yeah, makes sense. And so you end up finding out a whole bunch that there have been a few dozen other women that had been really the same story, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And if you would go to file a complaint against him anywhere, he would evict you. He would just.
Right. So when did this happen? So are we talking about 2021, or when is this exactly?
Yeah, 2021.
Okay. So this has been quite the fight. It's been going on for a few years then. And so you end up getting together and you get all these women on a list. You realize that how many people and that this is systematically going on. And what do you do next?
So I contacted the Fair Housing and I went directly to the Pennsylvania Attorney General. I think Michelle froze up. Are you still there?
All right, Todd, are you just blinked out for a second? So Todd, what do you do next? So you realize that this is systematically going on. And so what do you do next?
So I contacted the Pennsylvania Attorney General. I went directly to them. I emailed them and filed a complaint. They started their investigation in 2021 and found everybody and all what this guy has done and found all his illegal acts with all the rent-to-owns. And
You gave him the list.
I gave him the list. I did all the legwork for him and had it all out.
All right. And so how does that proceed? I know at some point they tell you they can't talk to you anymore about it. You did all this work and helping this really kind of get launched. And is this still this is still active, right? This is still going on with them?
Yes.
Okay.
They filed it. They filed the charges against him in September of last year. And it's still ongoing.
Okay. All right. So you end up doing that, and explain how it happened that just miraculously. So we talked Thursday morning. You had kind of launched this campaign on X, trying to get some podcasters or people with some kind of viewership of any kind or reach to help you to tell your story, right? And to help get some help. And you're like, I've got to have some kind of help. You guys, there's been so much that's been going on. The landlord trying to evict you after even being told he can't evict anybody, and there's a stay on that, and all this funny business because this man's got money. And here you are, not made of money and not collecting rent on 60 houses a month in cash. And so it's kind of like David and Goliath, right? And so when I listened to you, it was kind of like, oh my gosh, the cards were really stacked against you. And so it was very interesting to hear all this. We speak for Thursday morning for 2 hours on the phone, and you're explaining all of this, and we're going back and forth and talking about it all. What was so interesting and so miraculous is Friday morning, you get some incredible news. So why don't you go ahead and share that?
So what we had to do to keep this evil man from trying to evict us, we got served with a quit notice when he found out that we were like the whistleblower on him. He tried to evict us. The only way that we could stay in our house was to claim a bankruptcy. So I didn't want to do a Chapter 7 to where everything was liquidated. The attorney we spoke to said, let's do a 13. and we were talking way back when this article hit Newsweek, when I knew this house bankrupted us. So he said, we'll do a chapter 13. Well, we filed it in June,
May.
in the end of May, after we tried to get help from other organizations. So finally the judge approved it, said, because there was an argument of, no, you're only renting, no, you're only leasing, or are you on a rent to own? Well, with the Attorney General's filing, we are on a rent to own, and the contract we signed falls under the Pennsylvania real estate that we're under that rent to own, which, we agreed to.
Well, and also you all were paying the renter's insurance and maintenance on the home or property insurance. And so that makes sense. You've got property insurance and you've got maintenance on the home. So that makes a lot of sense that it would be, those are indications that you're acting as though you are renting to own. And so that makes a lot of sense. That's not normally something that would necessarily be paid for by a renter. So that makes sense. Okay. So you end up having all this bankruptcy process going on. And so who was it that you called Friday morning? Was that your attorney in the middle of that bankruptcy?
Yeah, the attorney who we have explained to us, they agreed to it, and they took our payments from our monthly payment, and instead of us paying this evil man now, we paid directly to the bankruptcy court and took our interest down to 0% and took our payments to where for the next 5 years, we pay directly to the federal court, and the house will be paid off and it's ours. We have no dealings with this man, none at all. But it cost us, I think, what was he total amount? Like
45.
Yeah, almost 5,000. I think the total was almost like 4,400 or 4,500.
Yeah. Which is a ton of money. Okay. So the one thing I thought was very interesting too, and a great lesson for our viewers, one of the many, is that the interest rate that he was charging was a 12% interest rate. Correct. And
1%
so
of the balance per month.
Yeah.
Yep.
So insane. And so what ended up happening, that's part of why the deal, I want to explain this to the viewers. That's why they're at a 0% interest rate, because it was ruled that this is illegal to charge this kind of an interest rate. And so so they've really ended up doing an amazing job with helping you guys. Of course, this has gone on for years, and this has been a battle that's gone on for over 3 years. Celeste Gray says, hallelujah for justice. And that's true. It does look like, but also there has been quite the battle. I mean, we think about all of the stuff that you did with Facebook, putting together the list, the case. It's amazing. I want everybody to also know that the full file, the complaint that was filed, the Endsleys have provided that. It was actually filed September of last year. And that is on MichelleMooreShow.com if you want to read it. The first few pages are quite interesting. It outlines all the different things that back up what the Endsleys are explaining. It's absolutely incredible, all the things that this landlord was doing and getting away with. But the first thing, I just want to encourage everyone to be aware about the interest rates, because, of course, it's just like, what ends up happening is you pay all this money every month, and 99% of it or 90% of it is going toward interest and not toward the actual purchase of the home. And so it's kind of like the poor getting poorer and the rich getting richer. You can't be doing things like that. At some point, it's fraud. He had told you that when you said, hey, can we take the contract and have someone look at it? You had said that he also said that the contract doesn't leave the house. So I thought that was interesting. And of course, that you needed to sign it that day if you wanted to get the home. So there was pressure as well. So I thought that was interesting. Usually when there's a pressure applied, usually that's a bad idea. And so anyways, but on Friday, you end up getting this information that your house note, your monthly note goes down. So right now you owe how much? $18,000 on the home?
$18,000. Yes.
Okay. And so explain what happened on Friday and what was ruled.
There was there was an argument when before it was ruled, if the Attorney General wins against this man, what happens if there's any money damages? Does it go to him? Does it come to us? So, because now I pay for the next 5 years to the bankruptcy court that they approved, and they pay him directly, not me. Say we win $18,000 in what the Attorney General did. We won't see any of that. That's gone. That'll go to pay the house off. It'll go directly to him. Okay, here you go, Mr. Evil Person. Here's your money. The Ensleys are in the clear.
Okay. All right. The other thing
And
too is that you're not 0% interest rate, which is amazing.
Correct. And it did lower our payment by $200 a month.
No. No. 100.
Yes, 100, like 100 a month or so.
Okay.
They lowered our payment to make it an even 5 years.
All right. That's interesting. That's great. Great news. And so we're so glad. We're thrilled that the judge, the federal judge ruled in your favor, and that you're getting some help, because I know that you all really needed it. There was a couple of things here. So it certainly sounded like immediately this man preys on women, preys on the poor, and preys on the uninformed. And so
Yep.
there are
And the
from
low
hell
income.
and low
And low
income.
income.
Yes. Great point. That interest rate craziness and those kinds of things, highway robbery, really. But then also in your story, when we were talking the other day, I thought it was interesting, and I want to go back and explain this as well. And that is that you had reached out to numerous places that really should have helped you. First of all, you already explained that you contacted your police departments, in the different counties, and different people that should have been helping you. Nobody would help you. So it was like the people, I saw a theme throughout your story, and that is that the very people that should be helping you refuse to help you. And so the second thing was you started contacting other organizations as well. You contacted the Veterans Administration. There was a program called the Veterans Leadership Program, and then also the Code of Vets, which is a 501c3. And so explain what those experiences were like, if you would please, Todd.
So the first place that I contacted was the Veterans Administration. I got the guaranteed home loan that I've never used. So I thought, hey, look, I only owe at that time, I think my balance was like 21 or 22,000. And I told them, I says, hey, could we pay this house off? They come out, look, it says, your house doesn't qualify for a VA loan. I said, I got over half of it paid off. Why doesn't it qualify?
It's got to be worth more than 60,000.
Yeah, it's got to be worth more than 60,000, and my roof,
Too much wrong.
yeah, was too much wrong. It was over 10 years old. So that left me out. So I reached out to another one, to a Veterans Leadership Program, and we were on the phone with them a couple days for hours at a time. And their solution was for my wife and I to pack up, and they would put us into low-income housing at projects.
Wow.
Not something we wanted to do.
Sure. Yeah, you have equity in your home. And this was what, it's part of the American dream, right? Is home ownership.
Right.
And it's, something I can totally understand. You also tell us about your representative. So you reached out.
So I reached out to our representative here, Miss Krupa, in our county, and sent her all the information where I was turned down from all the organizations, not eligible for the loan, and what Code of Vets and everybody told us to do. And right hand to God, when you had a representative tell you, I would have packed up, just move. We used our life savings here. Where was I going to go? And in my bank account at that time, if I go through my statements, I think I had $200 in the bank. Where was I going to go?
Plus, we have animals, and a lot of places around here don't allow them.
Yeah. Okay, so very interesting. So nobody had any real help for you, and
No.
the people that were supposed to help you wouldn't help you. And so this is really just, and DI laughing, I think kind of sums it up here. She says, so never underestimate the warrior spirit and benevolent heart of a veteran. Says, sir, I salute you. May God bless you and your wife. Rumble Tumble 20 says, I'm so sorry, Linda, for what you went through in that house by yourself, face to face with that evil abuser. There absolutely should be big consequences to him for that. Obviously, it's a systematic thing. Says, may God give you healing and peace. And then there was something else. So, like I said, Todd and I and Linda are talking on the phone Thursday morning. I'd caught wind of what was going on Wednesday through Crash, the Matrix, and reached out, and we set this appointment for Thursday morning on Wednesday. And it was interesting because as we get to talking, on top of everything else, I end up finding out something that I thought that many of you as my viewers would need to know this information. So Todd, explain about Linda. And so she turned 30 or turned 62 in July. Tell us about all of that. And so that way the viewers will be aware of this. It's crazy.
Okay. I want to, can I just back up to Code of Vets for a minute?
Sure.
We're talking about the 501c3s. They're there to help veterans of what they want to do. And I think I sent you the last email, what they sent me. They told me, get his attorney fired. I'm by myself. And that was their solution, to get this evil man's attorney fired so he can quit going after us on this quit notice. And this is 30 days before we would have to be out of here. I just ask for help, and that's what I get told. Go after the attorney because he has a wife and a child.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Veterans Leadership Program, what did they tell you?
Move out and move into low-income housing. They would help us move into projects.
And walk away from your equity?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's no big deal. And with the way the economy is now, housing around here is really tough.
And expensive.
So I'm not walking away.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll fight this man until I drop over.
Well, when it's the right thing to do, it's the right thing to do. And it's at some point, you have to pick where the line is. And I totally get that and respect it. And just like what DI laughing was saying, it says, never underestimate the warrior spirit and benevolent heart of a veteran. I think that's good advice,
Amen.
DI laughing. So that's what was so incredible as I heard your story. It was like, oh my gosh, you've been through hell and back. And I guess too, what I hate to say this, but a lot of what keeps coming to my mind in hearing and talking with you, and we've been on our conversations and everything, and even again today, is it's like, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. There is really no help for people who just genuinely just need some help, a hand up, a hand out, whatever you want to call it. But it's like, just need some help here. And some of it is just about seeing the justice, and I mean, there was just nobody that would hold him accountable of what he had just done to Linda and what you were finding out he had done to dozens of other women, literally dozens, if not more. Those are just the ones you found. And so it's just really a sad day when people won't, get up and go, what now? I tell people to lay off the fluoride, because I think that's one of the things that happens is people are so docile and just so blasé, and nobody will get up, and it's just nobody will stand up for what's hardly right in this world and good and honest. And it's just, I'm seeing such a blasé kind of attitude and just passive. Yeah. Men like you describing, Todd, about you wanted to go over there and, I'm sure I know what you wanted to go over there and do. And, but it's like, where are those men? So much of what we're seeing right now and have been for quite a few years is this passive attitude, and it's men and women. It's just really shocking. And so to hear somebody who, like what DI laughing said, a warrior spirit, somebody who is a warrior and says, okay, this isn't right. And not only am I going to fight for myself and my wife, but all these other women. And so kudos to you. KM Sunshine 1974 said, Todd and Linda are great warriors. Thank you, Todd, for your service. God bless you both. All right. Now, I want to go back to what I was bringing up about. So Linda turned 62 in July. And so, Todd, explain the math of what all happened and what you were trying to accomplish and how it did not work. It actually backfired.
It devastated us. My wife turned 62 in July. And I thought, well, this will be more income for us to bring the income level up in the house. Well, little do we know,
To get your retirement.
to get my retirement, she went on to my retirement. And when she applied in July, her first check came in September. Well, needless to say, that extra $477, we were getting food stamps because my income was too low. They took over half of them away. They took our Healthy Choice card, and this is all the government, where they give you a credit card every 4 months, and it comes with $500 on it, $100 for utilities and $400 for food. They took it away. And our Lie Heat program, which helped you with your heat, gone. So, and also on a medical, with our medical, because Social Security, you have to pay $165 a month for Medicare and stuff. She was getting covered under that. Now I got to pay that. So getting that extra $477, government took it all away, and it almost comes to $500 or $600 a month,
Oh, more than that.
or more than that we lost.
About 1,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
she added it all up.
Yeah, so the heating assistance was about $1,000 a year is what you had explained. The $160 a month for medical is completely gone, so about $160 on that. You said the food stamps was $260-ish. Was that a month that they took away? 260 food stamps, so that's a month. And then you got 400 in, or that, what was it, every 3 months you get the Healthy Choice, and that goes $400 in groceries and $100 in utilities. That completely went away. This is just because, I guess, is it that all these programs then somehow triggered that, oh, you guys are bringing in too much money at this point, and you
Yep.
income qualified out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Our income
so
is $1,800 a month.
okay, so your income is $1,800 a month. Let's get it. I've got a calculator here. So you got $1,800, which is more than what a lot of my viewers have. So you're talking about $21,600 a year. You're living on $21,600 a year, and they think you're making too much money for food stamp, or most of you, I guess you're still getting some food stamps, but you got $260
Yeah.
less. So, and then not getting help on your groceries and all that, and then your medical. Now you're having to pay the $160 a month for your medical.
We're still fighting that.
Okay.
I'll win.
And then the heating assistant. Now, the heating assistance was another thing that you were explaining that I thought, oh, I've never really thought about this, but boy, do you, this is again where the poor get poorer. I hate to say it like that, but that's kind of what I keep hearing in my spirit. So you were explaining if you can't order enough, is it heating oil at
Oil.
once?
Heating oil.
Okay. So explain that about the pricing. This was interesting, I thought.
Okay. Say heating oil, we got a 275-gallon tank of oil. So if you don't order 150-gallon or more, they charge you anywhere from 80 cents to $1 extra a gallon.
Which most people that wouldn't order that much would be because they can't afford it, right?
Correct.
Exactly.
Correct.
Okay.
So they'll
Again.
charge you more.
Yeah. So I'm sure I know my viewers, they're hearing it loud and clear what's going on here. And again, that just was like, oh my gosh, this is just another example of the poor getting poorer. And I know for a fact that, I talk to many people that, $100 even is a lot of money. And so you've got grandkids, they've got kids, that are also struggling. And so this is amazing. Well, Todd, Linda, I appreciate you coming on. This is one of those things with with Linda turning 62 and taking those benefits and all of this backfiring financially, that I wanted my viewers to be aware that this could happen, especially if they're taking benefits and thinking, okay, this is going to help our family, and you're getting some other assistance like food stamps and some of these programs like the Healthy Choice and the heating assistance. So I just wanted to make sure that people are aware So if you're looking at doing something like this and you're getting other programs, make sure that it doesn't, cost you or benefit you out, or however you want to say it. I mean, I'm just so blown away that somebody's going to think that 2 people living on 21.6 a year is too much money. It just is absolutely insane. So I appreciate the 2 of you coming on and sharing your story, Todd, Linda. I'm expecting that, this will just continue to go in your favor, and you'll have to keep us updated so we can give the viewers an update as well. And then Todd and Linda, I know that both of you, working at this and staying on top of it, producer Ron and I are going to pay your next 2 house notes for you. So we'll be in touch with you to find out where to send that to, and we're going to help you. Okay. And so we thank you. We bless you. We don't pay for interviews, but we bless you. And so thank you so much. I'm just knowing that this is going to help so many viewers today, especially with what happened to Linda today, what she was explaining about turning 62 and how this has just really put them through the ringer. But we're just going to keep on with the momentum. They got great news on Friday. They just got some more great news. And we're just going to pray that the blessings and the breakthroughs come through for them and you that need it, that are our viewers here at the Michelle Moore Show. This kind of stuff every day, I hear this. And, and I get so frustrated with people going, it's a movie, it's a movie, it's a movie. It's not a movie. I tell you what, tell the people who got vaccine injured, tell the people who their doctors won't prescribe ivermectin. Tell the people who the pharmacies won't fulfill it anyways. Hydroxychloroquine, the same thing. You know why? Because it works. Tell the people who have cancer. Tell the people, and the doctors won't help them, or they put them in and say, oh, you got to go to chemotherapy or radiation. Tell them about that. Let's see what they have to say. Let's talk to the elderly and the veterans and the people that aren't getting the help and are living in poverty or below. I got an email from a lady a few weeks ago. She's living in her car with 3 cats and has saved up enough money to get ivermectin. And so it's like, this is insanity. She got kicked out of her place. She was never late on any rent. And she goes, I don't even know why they kicked me out. She's 77 years old. She's a widow. Doesn't the word of God say we're supposed to take care of our widows and the orphans? And this is what happens to this woman. And so she's paying as much as she can to stay in a like pay by the week hotel. And then what she does is when she can't afford it anymore, she and the 3 kitties move to the car, an old car. And see what I'm saying? 77-year-old woman who's a widow. And this is so, and just so I don't get emails, we did take care of her ivermectin and it didn't cost her anything. But I'm just telling you, this is every day. And God bless the viewers, the few viewers that we have had who have said, we want to pay it forward. How can we help? And those kinds of things, because there's so many. The need is so great. I remember last year, in February, we had started in February 1st talking about the Wave Watch, which was just the day after my birthday. And I remember we just, had Linda Bammer on that day, and I was learning, and I've talked about this a couple of times about learning how many people are so sick. And I remember thinking, I just didn't know this many people were sick, living with this many illnesses and ailments. And I talked about it about 3 weeks later. So it was about the 3rd week of February. I had a vision, and the Holy Spirit showed me this woman in her pajamas. Many of you have heard me tell this story, but I saw a vision, and the woman, I knew immediately she was sick, and she was in her flannel pajamas and she was in the bed. And the Holy Spirit said to me, he said, this is just how the enemy works. And he said, it gets you beat down, beat up, distraught, distressed, poisoned from the land, the air, the water, and the food. And so that way, my children cannot walk and fulfill the purposes that they were created for. But I am going to use you to help bring healing to my children. And he was talking to me. Now, all that means is that just like I talked with Linda Bammer, and she goes, oh, I know God gave me all of the idea for the Wave Watch and that, but she still has to get it out to the people. And so God has to have the mouthpiece. And that's how all of this has happened. And so, but am I the healer? No, I'm not the healer. And so, but God is the one that can use someone to help to get others the help that they need. And so I just thank you. I just praise God for the things the healing, the things that I have gotten the emails. it's just amazing. I talked with our doctor, our truther doctor. He says we're at 900 prescriptions. Producer Ron and I have shipped out 900 prescriptions to our viewers all over the country to get them the ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, and whatever kind of antibiotics or whatever they decide that they want. You know, the fact of the matter is, it's a shame. It's a crying freaking shame that so many Americans in a country that's supposed to be the best country in this country will treat people like Todd Endsley, who signed on the line, was a veteran, and he's a disabled veteran, and they are living on 21.6. And I know my mother-in-law makes less than that. My mother-in-law wouldn't be able to, which I call her my mother-in-law, but she wouldn't be able to live in the house she lives in if it wasn't for the fact that she inherited some money. And my father-in-law, you know, he's a veteran, or was a veteran. He's passed away, but you know, he was in the Navy, and you know, I was shocked, and I've talked about this before. I had no idea how little my mother-in-law was getting every month. I could not hardly comprehend. I said, "What are you talking about? You know, like, are you saying that's all you get on Social Security?" And she's like, "Oh yeah." And then I've got these 2 little pension checks. And I said, "Well, how much are they?" And so she had worked for Aladdin and Lee Jeans for years. Of course, Aladdin moved to their company and everything over to Mexico. So there went her job back then. But, you know, she gets very little pension. And, you know, and she's a widow. And so before I get any more emails about my mother-in-law, I'm telling you, we take fine care of my mother-in-law. The problem is she won't spend any money. You know, I gave her money a few months ago, and I'm sure she just put it, you know, in the bank. She saves it. She won't spend any money. But the fact of the matter is, that's what that generation does. They know what poverty is. They know what need is. They know what lack looks like. My mother-in-law has told my kids, which I was shocked. I didn't know this, that when she was a little girl, she was the oldest girl of 8. She was in the birth order. She was the second oldest. And she talks about going to the store once a week with her father, and that she would get a Dum Dum sucker every week. Now, these are Dum Dum suckers that my kids got for free at the bank every time I went rolling through the drive-through. But she says she remembers that she would get a Dum Dum sucker every week. And that Dum Dum sucker she would make last for 3 days. And she told my kids this. And so they come home one time telling me this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And so this is amazing. This is incredible. You know, the need and the lack, but I think about my mother-in-law and the stories that she has shared about that, and how I understand now why she won't do those things. She won't spend money. We've asked her to go on a cruise. She got a friend who lost her husband. Y'all go on a cruise and, you know, go do something. We'll pay for it. We've offered to pay because of all of the things she's done for us and with us. And she won't go. She just, you know, but it's helped me to understand when you hear this greatest generation that's aging, and you see, and I'm seeing it firsthand, what we're doing. Firsthand, the emails I get. It breaks my heart. And I'm sorry for getting emotional, but it just makes me angry, and it hurts my heart. And we're going to keep doing what we're doing. Producer Ron and I are going to keep doing what we're doing. And as much as we can possibly do to make a difference. And we're going to keep letting God use me to help bring healing, so that he can get the healing that people need and the education. That's why we did the health series with Barbara O'Neill, because she's telling the truth. And I'm just like, where's this woman been all my life? I had a viewer email me. I think I read it last night or this morning. And she was talking about, I wish every school child could see this series, and talking about how, you know, she was blessed with watching the Barbara O'Neill series. And so, you know, these are the things that we need, the education we need. And that's why producer Ron and I work so hard to get this information to everybody possible. And why I talk about, my husband said today, your skin looks more healthy and beautiful than ever. Well, it's the black seed oil I've been telling you guys about. And I got my husband started on it yesterday. And so, but, you know, because he has to see the results. And so, but he was talking about it today. And, you know, and so I'm always trying new things. And I've had to email 4 people in the last, just since over the weekend, about my lemon water. And so I'm going to be doing a video for that, and we're going to have it on the website and different places so that people can see it, because people are like, what's the regimen again? And so we're going to be doing things like that as well and getting more information out. But, this is just, I didn't plan on this conversation, but let's read a couple of viewer emails. So Southern Georgia said, this is how they keep us contained and helpless. They do not want us to get ahead ever. And I'm seeing just more ways. That's what I'm saying. It's like, goodness gracious, when I was listening to Todd even today, and he's talking about the oil, and it was just like, oh my gosh, this is more of the poor getting poor, staying even poorer. And so Malaysia says they did that to my aunt and uncle, took away their food card, and he had only made like $12,000 maybe a year, which is nothing. It is nothing. You're right. I mean, I probably spend close to that. I got two teenage 18 and 20-year-old boys. Good and well, I'm spending that at the grocery store because the groceries are so crazy. I went the other day and got sandwich meats and 3 different kinds of breads and some healthy organic yogurt drinks that are probiotic. And the lady said $175 and some change. I said, how much did you just say? Oh, and I got some organic blackberries. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what did I buy? I mean, it was insane for $175. It's insane. Graham Cracker said, do you have an address for donating to their problem? I'll have to check on that. I will get an address and we'll put it in today's show description. I don't have the address yet, but of course I'll be getting with them anyway. So we'll be helping them. And if you want to donate, Graham Cracker, you can email me and I'll send you their mailing address. Okay. And so if anybody wants their email address or their mailing address, you can send me and want to help, then I'm happy to help that along. So you can email me at michelle@nashvillemichelle.com and we'll see how we can get help to them. MG Rosalie 24 said, tell me it's a movie about my friend that died from pain pill that had fentanyl poisoning in it. Yeah. Southern Georgia, Michelle, that's exactly how I feel. Mad as hell. This should not happen in America. Yeah, exactly. It shouldn't. This is supposed to be, and these are the people. These are our veterans. These are our widows. This is insanity. Grolden says, where could we send money for Todd and Linda? Just email me and I'll get you some instructions. Let me talk with Todd and Linda on that. Okay. One Us Creation says, tell me I'm in a movie when the SSD is dragging their feet for 10 months and giving me a decision while I am being evicted because I don't work or pay rent. I'm almost 62 years old. Exactly. B Manic says in fact, I struggled at first talking with Todd and Linda. And I'll tell you, it was hard. They almost didn't get on the show. And the reason, it wasn't until all this happened on Friday, because when I spoke with them Thursday, I said to them, and I said, Todd, Linda, look, I don't mean that your story's not horrific. And I'm just trying to think through this, but I have viewers that are in worse situations. I mean, this is, I'm not trying to say yours isn't terrible. It is, it's horrific. And you have a real need here, and it's insane. But I also hear so many others. So we really had an awesome conversation Thursday, and they have real need. I mean, the fact of the matter is there's so much, it's insane. Janine MHF says, all governments hate the people. Isn't it now obvious? Yeah, it's getting there. You're absolutely right, Janine. Norma 2020. That's why. And I just want to say this. I said this last week in one of the shows. What does the Word of God say? The Word of God doesn't say give your money to a church building and have them go and take care of the widows and the orphans and the people that are in need and our veterans and our elderly. No, we're to do that. Take that 10% that you would give or whatever you feel led to give. It might be whatever it's supposed to be, and make a difference person to person, and take a meal to the person who's sick. Send a love offering. Do whatever that looks like that you feel led to do. Ask God. If you don't know what to do with that money and you got an extra $100 and you're like, I want to do something with this, God. I want you to use it. Show me. Ask God to show you what to do with it and who to give it to. Okay. I gave someone a $100 voucher the other day that I'd been gifted, and I just asked God to show me who to give it to. And I gave it to the person I felt led to give it to. And so, but ask, because God will answer. Let's see. Norma 2020 says, exactly, Michelle. My mom only received $995 a month. There you go. It's less than $12,000 a year. How can anyone live on that? You can't. But we all hear these stories about these illegals getting all of this money. And so how does that make sense? If that is even beginning to even be close to being true, which I don't see anything that says that's not true, it's insanity. Rules PW says, we love you, Michelle and Ron. Don't apologize for having such a soft heart. You both are such a blessing. Thank you. I do have a soft heart. I'm an empath, and it just I live this. I live this. Okay. I read the emails and I see the hurt and the pain and I see the lack. And that's what's so shocking. And in the midst of that, fighting craziness, I'm fighting, people that are psychotic, narcissists as well. And who, they're so busy trashing Mike Gill or me. And what are they doing? But then I see the viewers, and not my viewers are awesome. But I see other people that call themselves patriots and truthers, and I see them not asking them, what are they doing? And so there's a systematic taking down of the ones that are actually telling the truth and being good and telling the good things and making a difference in the world. And so that's what's unbelievable. And then people fall for it. It's insanity. If you guys even knew the half of it. So let's see. But we're going to keep focused on what we do here at the Michelle Moore Show, because that's what actually matters. And so let's keep going. Rocky 2000 said, hi, Michelle. God bless you and all you and Ron do. We love your health and wellness videos. I have learned so much. My husband jokes with me and says, did Michelle say so? That's hilarious. I love it. Oh, my goodness. Doberman Mommy, she says, my tithing goes to support community and or someone in a special situation. There you go. That's it. God will show you. God will put people in your path. SSW Razorback says, my mother is 94 this year and she saves everything. See, a depression era child, and knows what it means to not have food, clothes, a car to get places, etc. My mother-in-law, when she went to town and got that dum-dum sucker, it was in a horse and buggy. I didn't realize all these years that she kind of goes back that far. She's 83, going to be 84 in January. She still lives like that. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, SSW Razorback gets it. And so that is exactly it. That's exactly what's going on. And when I heard that story, it all just so suddenly made so much sense. Celeste Gray says, best content for the people. Thank you, doll. Widows, also men who have lost their wives, like my dad, married 43 years. That's right. A widower, a man I would call a widower. I don't know why I say that. I guess that's the term for it. She's got an uncle who's married 42 years and seems like we all need to identify as illegals and criminally to be supported. Yeah. And so it's insane. And we've got to take care of each other. If we don't take care of each other, I'm telling you, nobody's going to take care of us. And so I don't want to hear about it being a movie. Okay. Mike Gill lives on $1,100 a month. Well, he doesn't have a house that's paid for like my mother-in-law. So you know what that means? That means he's in the red before he even gets started. And so that's why producer Rod and I have made a commitment, and our families, to support Mike Gill, and who is a hero, an American hero as well. Our veterans are American heroes. Okay. And so our mothers that stay at home and homeschool their children, those are American heroes, if you ask me. All right. Well, I hope today has helped you. We got a great show tomorrow. Boy, y'all better sit down, and you might want to get some water. Might want to, I don't know, you're going to need something. Might need a fan yourself, because tomorrow's show is just going to be just unbelievable too. Okay. I hope you've enjoyed today's show. And if you do want to try to see about giving to Todd and Linda to help them, like I said, you can email me at michelle@nashvillemichelle.com, and I will get you the details. The same with Mike Gill. If you want to try to help Mike Gill as well, I'll be happy to send you the details for that as well. And there's just real need. And, just God bless America and those of us that love the country and love one another. Go out and do something nice for someone today, even if it's just a little something. All right. We'll see you right here next time on The Michelle Moore Show.
Are you tired of all the pills in your medicine cabinet? I'm Linda Bamber Olson, the creator of the Wave Watch, a more natural approach with 1,000 frequencies for mind and body. People have used the Wave Watch for kidney stones, arteries, blood, immune system, vagus nerve, myocarditis, allergies, colds and flu, ADD and ADHD, strokes, Parkinson's, carpal tunnel, thyroid, Lyme disease, and so much more. WaveWatch has a 1-year manufacturer's warranty for defects and flaws, and you can also upgrade to an additional warranty for water damage and breakage. Are you tired of all your pills and endless trips to the pharmacy? Why not try the WaveWatch with 1,000 different self-care ideas and put your mind at ease?
Just go to wavewatch.com. At checkout, use the code Michelle100 to receive $100 savings on your purchase.
I'm Dr. Fulgens. For over 30 years, UCB has helped customers strengthen portfolios with gold. But let them tell you in their own words.
Buying gold and silver from Universal Coin and Bullion has been one of the greatest experiences for me, and it's been an easy process and also a very safe process to do that.
Call now to secure your 1-ounce gold or silver American Eagle coin with no dealer markup.
Did you know your cell phone emits radiation that has been linked to increased risk of certain types of cancers? This is why manufacturers include hidden warnings to keep your phone away from your body. And what's worse is that children are more susceptible to the potentially damaging effects. Safe Sleeve for cell phones is a case specifically designed to block radiation. Its shielding technology integrated into the case has been tested in a third-party FCC-accredited lab to block over 99% of RF and 92% of ELF radiation emitted by your phone. It also functions as a stand for watching videos and comes in a magnetically detachable style for some devices. Safe Sleeve also offers anti-radiation cases for tablets and laptops and has free shipping in the U.S. plus discounted worldwide shipping is available. Go to truthtalkamerica.com today and click on the Safe Sleep banner on the home page. Use the discount code FIRST10 at checkout for 10% off your first order. For Michelle's social media links, go to MichelleMooreShow.com.